have no idea how long this YouTube channel's been in the making. Would you believe 12 years? Maybe longer. But today I'm officially starting and counting this as my first video. What's up, Boomer? I'm Phil. I'm 66 years old. Throughout the YouTube verse right now, there's this, it's never been a greater time, or why you should be starting your YouTube channel, particularly if you're older. Well, 12 years ago, I wanted to start one, and I'm a master procrastinator. As I said, this has been a long-term time coming. You know, and I think there's some of you out there right now, if you found this, you went searching, you found this come up, and you said, well, let's see what this first video, what his first video looked like. And so this is a document for my YouTube video history. This is number one. So as I begin the channel, there's so many different ways that I've learned over these years, because over the years, I'm going to show you a few things in just a minute of all the things I've done to prepare and to start YouTube. It's ridiculous, actually. But I'm going to go a lot of off the cuff. It seems to be the new way to do it, not the fancy smancy stuff. And I think that hopefully through that, other boomers are going to relate. And will be the reason, if you choose to tune in, the reason you do choose to tune in, the reason you do choose not only to watch, but maybe connect. And we'll talk more about that as we go. The foundational start to this, though, and one thing you'll see is I follow all these other types of interesting people that have retired or about to retire, or how they're living their retirement. I don't know if all of them, well, they talk about what a great time it is to retire. And it is, and I'm looking forward to these final years. I'm thinking the final years, this final quarter can be and will be the best years. For the majority of us, retirement really is a time, you know, it's not necessarily the golden years, as a lot of us might want to think of it as. It's just making the best of the way things have turned out. You know, I would have never guessed things have turned out for me the way they've turned out. But I have to make the best of it. And that's what we're going to, you know, I hope through my stories and the stories that I learned from others that will be a part of this channel, that's what we're going to find out, is retirement is really about making the best of the way things have turned out. You know, as I am facing starting this channel, primarily to supplement my retirement. They say it can be done. We're going to find out. 98% or more of us that are retiring are not going to be able to maintain the standard of living we're necessarily used to. That's tough. And so what do? Well, on the good side is we have opportunities like we've never had in the world, at least our past world. We have opportunities today in this new world that can give us a lot of hope. And I'm looking forward to what those things are and sharing with you what I'm doing and how I'm going to do it. And we'll see if that succeeds. You know, 12 years ago or so, when I started, I bought a Canon T2i camera. I'm going to show you just some of the things that I've bought over the last 12 years to successfully begin YouTube. The problem back then was the technology. There was a really steep learning curve. It was difficult. It was frustrating. The camera I got was cutting edge. It was used. My brother had recommended it. He was doing wedding photography. This particular camera was being used in major network television for B-roll and things like that. And it was great, but what wasn't great is the operator. There's no way I was going to put together stuff that, at least initially, that I could even get things uploaded, let alone, you know, edited. So let me show you some of the things over the last 12 years I've done to start a YouTube channel. Just some of the equipment, the courses, the ideas, the mics that I've got. All right, we're going to rapid fire through the many things that I could scrounge up, and there were more, but what I could scrounge up in just the last few minutes of equipment. The very first thing, which is really good memory, is a Canon T2i. Wow, what a cool camera this was. Still could use it today, but it's very kind of bulky, cumbersome, etc. A ton of stands. What do you call those things? You know, there was the flip recorder. This was a cool little deal, man. It had great technology for audio. There it is. Just going. Lots of microphones. This is also when I was podcasting. The Blue Yeti. The Audio-Technica stand as well. Camera bags. The drone. The DJI Mini. This was cool. The one time I flew it for real, I lost it. And I had to thank goodness it has an auto return to home. And it came back. More microphones. I actually used this one today on my iPhone. So many chargers and hookups. I have no idea what half of them go to. Lenses. Lights. More tripods. Did I say I have a lot of things that I don't even know where they go anymore? Headphones. The Rode Sound thing. The Apple Magic Keyboard. More chargers and tripods. Speakers. A Mac Mini, my current computer. This was the Sony a6000. What a cool buy. I use this now for astrophotography, which I took my first pictures of a month or two ago. Got this to do videos, but never used it for video. Never got started. And I've got 2 GoPros. I can't even find them right now, but here's the number of books and classes and workshops I've taken. Crazy. But this one I bought just a year or so ago. I think it's one of the best, and I'll be using this to help me through this and navigate the YouTube. When I think about the channel, at this point, because over the years I've gone through many different renditions of what I thought I would do with YouTube, it boils down to 3 things as of now. The first and foremost, and most important, is legacy. You know, leaving something to my grandkids and my kids. But I'll tell you what, the grandkids, of which I have 6 now, 5 grandgirls and 1 grandson, they're the reason I want to use this as kind of a legacy channel with that regard, that they can look back and not only see their pop, but hear him. I'll be covering a lot more of that and encouraging others, whether you're young or old, to begin thinking about documenting the stories of your family, to do memory types of things, to do activities that now create those memories. I'm most enthusiastic and excited about using this channel to do that. I hope you'll tune in for it. And in the next 6 months, in my opinion, up to a year, depending on what takes, is probably what I'll focus more on. And if there's actually a topic or a video where you say, this doesn't have anything to do with me, I could care less. That's because I'm doing it for the grandkids when it's all said and done, so that they have a memory of me, personality, voice, very important. And I'll be hopefully sharing things in such a way might motivate you. But reason number 2, retirement. There's certainly to talk about what's going on in life right now and to share my story, to share with others their story. You know, retirement sometimes can be a pretty scary thing, especially when you're part of that 98% that doesn't have the nest egg through no fault of your own. And even if it was something you frivolously spent on through life, no judgment. I've made some frivolous decisions, obviously, and others are no fault of my own. And can you have a good life? How do you live life without the nest egg that we all thought we would end up having? We'll talk about why I don't have the nest egg. What happened? That's a story in and of itself. Why you may not have the nest egg. And I don't relate to all these people. I mean, they lucked out. They had the same job for 20, 30 years, worked for a great company, and have that 401k or whatever. And but I know there's way more people that are facing the same thing that is now my reality. And I want to talk about it. I'll share with you not only what I'm doing, but what opportunities are out there for us to live life now, especially if we have our health. Now, if we don't have our health, that's something else that will be covered a little bit in my life and my story, because 4.5 years ago now, I believe it was, and there are videos about this, because I had thought I'm going to start a YouTube channel about this and talking about going forward. But 4.5 years ago, I faced my mortality with a life-ending event, Widowmaker, 99% blockage on that LAD, if you know anything about that. And the journey from then to now has been quite interesting. Thank God I'm here. There's some days though I wonder about how many more years I have left. And it's just a reality. And I think for those of you who get that, good for you. But for those of you who don't ever give that any thought, something to think about, because none of us are guaranteed a long life, let alone a life till tomorrow. So talking about retirement and money, because it's a big challenge, and you probably know what I mean, at least 90+% of you. Number 3, okay, here's what you do. Remember. Okay. You know, I did teach school for many years, so let me practice this, see if it'll work. I can't even get the pin top back on. This is old school, isn't it? But number 3. It's supposed to pop up there. Nostalgia and remembering. I think one of the things I look forward to in the channel is just sharing our memories together. I have this idea to do a little video on Converse, Chuck Taylor Converse All-Stars, the and only basketball shoe, and how in 7th grade when I was starting tryouts, they were expensive, and my parents couldn't really afford it, and said, well, if you make the team, we'll buy you a pair of Converse. And I made the team. It was $10 for a pair, and they were high top, white high tops. Well, thank God I got them. I was the second to the last guy, as I remember, to get my shoes. Most of them had it during tryouts. And you know, we've forgotten more things now about the past than what most people, you know, would ever remember or whatever. And I want to tell some stories and review some of the good times and the decades that we have lived. For myself, I was born in 1958, but thinking about the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, so many things to remember and to celebrate and to feel good about overall. Looking forward to that, and looking forward to not only sharing with you, but again, learning from the community that will develop here on the channel and on YouTube, as we're all a part of it. I think it's a real benefit using YouTube and our technology today to remember the real, not the fake things like in AI, which is a major concern of mine, although there's some really good things about that. But you know, to just remember to see the videos, to hear the audio recordings, to see the pictures of our lives captured in those formats back then. So where am I at today as I begin video 1 officially? Well, I just applied for Social Security a couple weeks ago. It's October presently, 2024. For me, it's 66 and 7 months. For the rest of you youngsters out there, it's going to be 67 until they decide to change that and make it later, and they probably will. But anyway, I applied to start it a few months before I get the official age, because the income cap is much higher in the qualifying year without the details, and I won't have any trouble. It only makes a few dollars difference a month if I take it in January or April. And I've already hit a glitch. At least they got the application, did it all online. We'll see how that turns out. But looking to start that in January, hope to have the first check then by February, but continue to work. Because on my Social Security, I'm not going to be living a high life. So I need to supplement. What does that look like? Well, I continue to work. And we'll talk about that story. We all have a work history, and one thing good is if you're able, you can still, it's kind of sad though, looking at elderly people out there still having to work. But in some ways, it's very good. I'm very thankful to still be out there, be active, work with younger people. They keep you young. It's fun to banter back and forth with them. I'm definitely seen as a dinosaur with a personality, which is why I think they tolerate me. But it's also good for me to keep up with, seeing they will be the future, and it will come quick. And if you're in that boat of being a younger person, let's say under 40, you'll be approaching your day that I'm living in now, much quicker than you think. I know you always hear that. But some of the online pursuits that I'm pursuing and making decisions on, and I'll be letting you know, are things like writing, Etsy, eBay, lots of creative opportunities that are very possible from the comfort of your own home. You just have to learn, put in the work, spend time, learn a computer, but things are getting so much easier for us. Literally, if you can just point and click, it can be done. And really, it's what's up here as far as creating something you could provide for the market. But anyway, the bottom line is to build community. Ultimately, of the billions of people out there, if we could just get, the first goal is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So, wow, I can't imagine that. And they have to come from you, not just family and friends. So that's my first goal with my channel, is 1,000 subscribers, which, by the way, you're not going to hear me beg for subscribers, but if you are anywhere in or relate to these types of things, subscribe. Hit the button, on however it is on your format, your phone, etc. And follow along, and then participate, either via comments, etc. Speaking of which, as I approach the end of my notes, holy cow, I get a little, yeah, here we go. So, I have a community newsletter. It's called What's Up Boomer. If you would like to check it out, just put newsletter in the comments. I'll also include a link in the information on the channel, and that'll take you to where I have them. You can actually check out some of the crap I've been writing and just see if there's anything in it that you're interested in. I'm housing it at presently on the platform called Substack. Very cool platform. Of all the platforms I've been a part of over the course of the last 20 years, really, since the late 1990s, early 2000s, this is the best place. I'm very optimistic and happy with it. So, community newsletter, if you write down in the comments newsletter, I'll post the link direct for you so you don't even have to look for it. Now, if you're a friend, and right now, these early videos, the challenge is to get at least 100 of them out, so I'm going to just start posting these videos on various topics, and then in the future go into more detail about the stories behind these ideas. But if you're a friend, you know me, and just put friend in the comments, maybe, just so I know you were here, and then I'll probably reach out to you directly. It's insulting to communicate with you, let's say, via Facebook comments, right? Come on. But that would be cool to know you're here and that you're following. Otherwise, I will unfriend you, because that's the way things are in 2024. Just kidding. And lastly, if you are here because you wanted to check this out as what's his first video like, see, this is something I've done when I've looked at other YouTubers that are growing or just starting. I just go back and I go to, you have to be online, I think, on a computer, and you go bring up the channel, and then you'll see videos, and you go oldest, and you can go back to their first video. And this I'm going to title first video, so the other stuff that isn't, they were first videos, you can check those out. But this is the first one that I'm putting this channel behind as I go forward. What's up, Boomer? Put first video in the comments. That's all you got to do. So there's a lot of YouTubers that say, well, you just end your video. Just end it. Just cut it off in mid-sentence. So that was what that kind of thing was. But see you in the next video.